Good morning, folks. Today I am reviewing an espresso blend from Andytown Coffee Roasters, right out of San Francisco's Outer Sunset District. And these guys are probably my favorite micro roaster, or just coffee roaster in general, at least here in the city. They've got a really unpretentious small shop, like I said already, in the Outer Sunset District, so that's kind of close to the beach, and it's just got a nice vibe, you know, not too foo-foo. The clientele are kind of these beach bums, just people who have kind of been native San Franciscans. So I like the vibe in there. They are very friendly folks, and they have a really tiny roaster in the back of the shop, so you can actually see them roasting their coffee, which isn't necessarily a novel thing amongst coffee roasters, but it's still pretty cool. So this, once again, is the short strand, and I've basically been pulling shots with it through my MyPressy twist almost exclusively. I did make a cup of mocha pot coffee, and that's what this is. But let me tell you a little bit about the blend. So it consists of beans from Costa Rica and Ethiopia. It's named after the neighborhood where Michael, one of their owners' grandma, lived in Belfast, and the short strand is strong and invigorating, yet it might be the sweetest little espresso you've ever met. It's a powerful mix of smooth Costa Rican and fruity Ethiopia beans. And this blend is engineered to produce a syrupy sweet shot with flavors of caramel, peanut brittle, and milk chocolate. And then they also give you some recommended doses here on the back for both espresso and mocha. And I actually stuck to their recommendations for the most part, meaning I used 21 grams of coffee for every shot I pulled and tried to get a yield of 25 grams, although I was going over just a little bit every time. They also say if you're feeling daring, you can make a cup of drip coffee with this, and it's known to have a sweet, smoky taste. So let's look at the beans. So I'm not sure what the variety is, but, or at least the mixed varieties are, but if there's Ethiopian beans in here, I'd imagine that some are of the heirloom variety. Not sure about the Costa Rican guys here. Pretty light color for an espresso blend, and you're gonna find out that actually played a role in the flavor profile. So I was very rigorous with my note taking. I actually put together a spreadsheet that I'll probably be using from here on out for at least espresso, because I like to really track lots of different brew parameters. So some of those brew parameters would be how many days off roast, of course the coffee dose, the yield of the shot, so how much espresso is actually coming into the cup, the grind setting on my grinder, also very important, total brew time. So I normally start counting as soon as I pull the trigger on my MyPressy twist, so that would be the equivalent of as soon as you activate the pump, you start counting. And then, of course, the flavor notes. So that's probably what you're curious about. Andytown says, as I already mentioned, caramel, peanut brittle, and milk chocolate. Syrupy sweet. So definitely had a nice syrupy body. I didn't really pull too many shots that I would describe as thin. However, my palate was telling me that the shots were predominantly kind of a mix of dark chocolate and lemon. Now, maybe it was milk chocolate, and I was just hoping it was dark chocolate because I'm a dark chocolate fan myself. So I don't like to associate with those milk chocolate flavor notes, but in any case, it was there. I would say that the lemon made itself most present when temperatures were sub 200. So I see, like, in my notes, the pattern is when I got brew temperatures over 200, and by the way, it's really hard to regulate water temperature in my espresso machine. I had notes of buttered popcorn, so that was the very first shot I pulled 2 days off roast, lemon, and then a dark chocolate finish. Picked up a little bit of cherry here and there, and then just the dark chocolate and lemon again kind of throughout. So the high acidity of a lemon could be associated with under extraction, and so I kind of worked my way down to finer grinds when that happened, but I think it's just really part of the flavor profile in general. They don't note it on their own flavor notes, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. Could be my equipment, but I will do a follow-up at the end of this review because I'm not done with the bag. I'm still pulling some shots, so I'm trying to see if I can get maybe more of those darker flavors out, those chocolate notes that are there, but not kind of, I feel like they haven't completely balanced out the lemon element. So there was one time I also picked up a little bit of raspberry, and I think it was probably more in the aroma actually, but I found that to be pretty interesting, and that was already when I was down to one of the finer grind settings I use and above 200 degrees Fahrenheit, so I was at 201. So what I would say about this coffee, at least for pulling espresso shots, is maybe go a little bit finer than you normally would with a darker blend. That's just my experience with lighter roast blends, and even single origins. When you're pulling shots, you got to go finer than you normally would. So finer, and maybe keep it above 200 for this. You can use the recommended yield. I would say between 20 and 25 grams for a shot yield. If you like that kind of full-bodied type of espresso, the ristretto type shot, then that would be ideal. But it's up to you, really, what you want to do with that. 21 grams, though, in worked fine. Let's talk about the mocha pot, though, because I did brew 1 cup, and I was so confused by the fact that they said peanut brittle. I was like, I'm not tasting peanut brittle at all until I brewed up some mocha, and it smacked me right in the face. I was like, whoa, that is peanutty. I'm not sure if that flavor note was associated with the shots or maybe doing pour over or mocha, but that was there, and I think it's pretty cool that there's a little bit of consistency. Of course, I was probably influenced, but by the notes on the back here, I probably said, oh, well, they said peanut brittle, so that's what I'm tasting. But again, I didn't pick it up in the espresso shots. I picked it up in the mocha, so at least I was being honest with myself about the flavor notes when it came to espresso. And, you know, I don't look at these notes until I'm done with a bag normally, or at least close. So I like to keep things as unbiased as possible. Trust me. So anyway, that is the short strand from Andytown Coffee Roasters. Their coffee comes in these little 8-ounce bags, retails for $9.50. So yeah, ideal for somebody who doesn't want to buy too much coffee at once, or maybe, you know, likes to keep a bunch of different varieties of coffees on hand, and maybe doesn't pull as much espresso as an espresso fiend tends to do. I don't know. This is a good one to check out, especially if you like those acidic notes. But not really, I wouldn't really recommend it for those who like a nice, dark, kind of smoky, chocolatey type of shot. This isn't really for you. It's more about highlighting the fruity tones. So take that as you will. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, whatever. Thank you.